All right, here we go. We're going to start recording.
All right.
Boom. Welcome back, listeners. Bow, 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 bow. It's episode 50. I'm your host, Kelly.
And I'm Brandon.
And I'm your temporary guest co-host, Josh.
Also, this is Arts and Crimes. I was so excited I skipped past it. Yeah, we're at episode 50. That's what we're calling it. And it's Arts and Crimes.
Because it's the 50th episode?
Yeah. It's the 50th recorded episode.
It's so weird.
Wow.
Crazy. Arts and Crimes Theater today. We're going to talk about the movie Constantine. And we are all just like brimming. Just so much to say because we just finished the movie. So we're going to do week checks, but there's definitely spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen the Constantine movie from 2005, starring Keanu Reeves.
Playing a man named John, wearing a suit, who goes on a murder spree.
Yeah, not to be confused with his other movie, The Matrix.
Or John Wick.
That was a joke.
Okay.
Anyways.
But there's a lot of slow motion in this one, like The Matrix.
Okay, but I was thinking about it, and I was like, how many times has Keanu played guys named John?
At least.
John Wick,
twice.
John
What about,
Constantine.
what's his name in Speed?
Isn't it John or Johnny or something like that? I don't
idea.
remember. But in the video game,
And Point
Johnny
Break.
Silverhand.
Johnny Silverhand.
Oh, yeah.
He plays Johnny Silverhand. So at least 3. That's wild.
We're going to just ask AI really quick to tell us how many times. 10 movies and 1 video games.
Does he like the name John, or does John like the Keanu?
He is a John in Point Break.
There it is.
Yeah.
He plays Don Juan, which is close.
Yeah.
John Smith, John Wall, Johnny Silverhand. That's so funny.
I love that. Anyways, classic
Johnny
Keanu.
Utah?
I forgot about Johnny Utah.
His name is Johnny Utah.
That's so great. Anyways, Keanu Reeves. But first, before we get started, the week checks.
All right.
Who wants to start?
I can. I don't have a terrible ton, I guess.
Go for it.
Well, they came out with a new update and war bond for Helldivers. It's was it a Warhammer themed
Oh, yeah.
a little bit, so that's been fun. Kind of reignited a little bit of Helldivers as Destiny 2 has kind of dropped off a little bit for me. Other than that, I haven't had too many like poignant thoughts or big experiences, but one thing that is standing out to me, I suppose, is right now my son Lincoln is actively pursuing having a motorcycle.
Really?
Yeah. Much to the chagrin of his mother. She is adamantly opposed to motorcyclism.
It's like it's a religion.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some people, it kind of is.
It really
It's
can
true.
be. So I am maybe, I don't know if you would say that I'm helping move this forward. I'm certainly not stopping him. And so we're both going through a motorcycle class. We signed up for it.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You're excited because you're going to get a motorcycle.
Nah, I mean, I probably would if I wasn't married. I don't see how I will ever succeed in owning a motorcycle. My dad was against it my whole life, and then I got married, and my wife is against it my whole life. So once they're both dead, I think I'll get a motorcycle.
And you'll ride it to their funerals.
And go, take that.
But
And then you immediately crash.
Yeah.
You
That's
leave
how
'cause you're
it's, I'm joining you
75
guys.
Years old. Just cut out the middleman and drive straight into the grave.
Yeah.
Take me and my Harley with you. Anyway, what is interesting to me about this is just how different things are. Because I remember wanting and being excited about the opportunity of having a motorcycle. Like I remember when Paul, our cousin Paul, rebuilt that Harley, and I was just like, man, this is like the perfect motorcycle. The one that he picked to remake, it was a kind of understated a little bit. It wasn't like a crazy over the top Harley. And there's just been a number of times where I really wish that I had a motorcycle, but our dad always adamantly against it. I can't have a motorcycle because unlike him, I didn't grow up driving dirt bikes and learning how to not kill myself. You can't just go out on the road without having 10 years of dirt biking under your belt. And I never fought that. I just kind of accepted, like Dad said, I can't have a motorcycle, and I never had a motorcycle. And what's interesting to me is that Dad has never said that he could have a motorcycle. I've never said he could have a motorcycle. Mom has adamantly said how much she's against it.
Maybe that's why.
And Lincoln is getting a motorcycle.
Maybe that's why he wants one.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just such a different approach. Like, I don't know why I never was like, well, Dad said it, but I don't care. And that's definitely like, it's not that Lincoln doesn't care completely, but he's definitely his own man and making his own choices. And so he's saving up money. He's looking at, actually today, at some point, I think after this pod, he asked me to go with him to look at helmets. So he's going to go try on some motorcycle helmets. Anyway, there you go. That's my week check.
Here's my week check. I deleted Instagram and I got off of Instagram. So I no longer have short form videos on my YouTube or Instagram. And I don't have any of the other things downloaded. So no TikToks and all that stuff. Those TikToks. And let me tell you, I got so much time on my hands. The other, like the first couple of days after I deleted Instagram, I kept just like picking up my phone because I was like, it's time to set it back down. And I watched like the whole first season of the cartoon Gargoyles because I was like, I've got so much time. So
glad to see you're putting that free time to good use.
Yeah.
Baby steps, John.
Yeah, I got to work there. Slowly. So I did stop binging Gargoyles. I did, however, research Gargoyles, but that's not what this episode's about.
Yeah.
Also, there's not a
100th episode will be watch all of
all-
Gargoyles.
Actually, you'd only have to watch the first 2 seasons because the writer was not included in the third, and he was like, the show went downhill from there, and I had so much good material. Anyways, really good Gargoyles material that we'll never see. There's my week check.
Does the lady detective ever get with
The very end of
Get with?
the main gargoyle?
What a wild idea.
Goliath,
Yes, Goliath.
Lisa Maza,
he
and
already-
Goliath, and they don't get with each other. It's a kid's cartoon.
They should though.
Uh-huh.
But at the end of
They got so
season
much
2, they
chemistry.
both finally admit their feelings for each other. And then right before Goliath turns to stone, she jumps up and gives him a kiss.
Oh.
Wild. Isn't there a gargoyle who's
Hold on, you'll have to
into
cut this out.
Goliath?
Cut this out.
It's his ex-girlfriend, wife,
Yes.
person.
Yeah.
His ex-girlfriend
Demona.
wife? Yeah.
Yeah. She turns crazy and tries to kill humanity and Goliath many, many times.
Yeah. Listen, here's my question. Which again you'll have to cut out.
No.
Because there's the red one, the green one, the teal one, Hudson, the old one, Goliath, and the dog. Okay, yeah, so I got them
So
all.
did they not have names?
They didn't
back-
have names before. Goliath was the only one that had a name because he was the leader. And so they were
And
like,
he
why?
never gave his soldiers names?
No, he
It's
never
like,
just
did.
went, you.
old one.
You.
They-
No.
yeah, they just called each other brother and stuff. And then they got there, and Elisa was like, what are you guys' names? And they're like, why do you got to name everything? She's like, you need a name. And they're like, okay, well, we've flown around this area for a bit. So I'll name ourselves just after this city.
Mm-hmm.
So Hudson picked the Hudson River because he was like, why does everything have to have a name? Would you name the river? She's like, yes, it's the Hudson River. He's like, that's what you can call me. So they all took names.
What a
Bronx,
funny little
Broadway.
tidbit there.
Yeah.
I have to agree with the gargoyles. Why does everything have to have a name?
Well, I agree with Elisa Maza.
I don't name my cars.
I name all my cars.
Yeah, you don't name your cars?
No.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah,
You got to name your cars, man.
I don't have to. It turns out.
It's so sad because they walk in, he's like, it's in the black car, or it's in the blue car, or my car, your car. I'm like, your cars have a soul.
Your poor cars must feel
Yeah.
so let down.
Well,
I whisper names to them
my
in the dark.
Kelly named them.
Yeah.
the black car has been my car for over 20 years.
And he still doesn't have a name.
and still doesn't have a name, and he's doing just fine.
You know how much better he'd be doing if he had a name?
Yeah. He would still have all his paint.
Doubt it.
He would have some self-respect.
Anyways.
Podlings, send in what Brandon should name
Name
his
his-
20-year-old car.
His 20-year-old car. It's got
So
paint.
he's 22.
22.
22 black Corolla, Toyota Corolla.
With a
Yeah.
spoiler.
Send,
Corolla S.
Yeah, it's,
And it's a
it's an
stick.
S. Stick shift, yes. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Send in those names to Kelly. And if
He will
one
continue to
really
ignore them.
piques my interest, if one, like, subverts my expectation, maybe I'll consider using it.
Josh is going to send in like 15
I
emails.
know, I really am. Would be hilarious if someone sends in Brandon and you're like,
That's the one.
I don't know why,
It
but-
speaks to
There's
me.
something about that name.
come on, Brandon.
Okay, yeah. So that's all. Oh, and now it's your week check.
Oh, my week check. I'm panicking. I don't know. I didn't watch Gargoyle at all. Okay, here's a funny week check. So our children, a lot of times when we do things, we'll explain it to them, but sometimes I want more of a direct lesson for them. So we have for our kids, they all have a timer, like a hourglass that's 90 minutes. And that's their screen time for the day. So if they're watching TV, playing video games, or whatever, they use the same timer for whatever screen-based activity they're doing. We used to just have a limit on their Nintendos because they all have a little Nintendo Switch Lite. But what would happen is they just burn through all that time and then immediately be like, can I play video games on the TV? Can I play PS5? Can I watch a show? And I was like, the whole point of having a limit is for you guys not to just jump from screen to screen. Anyway, so that's why we went with the hourglass method. And then the kids were like, it's the last week of summer. Can we have unlimited time? And I was like, sure, but you have to do something with me. So at the end of the day, we're going to write down everything you accomplished. I got them all little notebooks. And I want you to tell me how much time you think you spent playing Nintendo because I can see on my phone how much they actually spent. How much do you think they spent the first day? What would you guess?
6 hours.
10 hours.
Yeah, at least 6 hours, up to 8 hours, like a lot of time. So at the end of the day, I was like, okay, write down everything you did today. And they were like, I ate breakfast. I had some toast. They were like really every single thing. They were like, I tied my shoes, like to try and
It's
make
like
it
that
seem like
episode
they
of
did a lot.
Futurama.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, Fry, what have you done? She won't shut up.
And then and I was like, great, now say how long those things took. And they're like, oh, 5 minutes. Griffin had one where he was like, I exercised today. How long was that? For 1 minute. I was like, oh, well, it's better than 0 minutes, I guess. And then at the end, I'd be like, how long do you think you spent on Nintendo? And they're like, I don't know, like maybe 2 hours. I'm like, you spent 6.5 hours on Nintendo today. And so after the first day, they were all like, oh, that's awful. And I was like, listen, guys, the reason we don't want to spend all day on screens is not because screens are bad in themselves, but because it pushes out other good things we could spend our time on, right? And that's what I want you to focus on. It's not like, oh, screens are bad and I shouldn't do them. And they were like, well, we'll do less tomorrow. I'm not gonna do any tomorrow. And I'm like, again, it's not bad. You just gotta limit yourself and make sure that you are doing good things. And he was like, okay, for sure. And then the next day at night, I'm like, how much do you think you did? And they're like, 3 or 4 hours. I was like, guess what, man? It was more than that. So by the end of the week, they were just doing that. Like every day they would go, we're not going to spend it. And then the next day they would still spend as much time on the screens.
It's addictive.
So I was like, so do you understand now why we have the timers? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, so do you think the timers are a good idea? Yes, they're a good idea. Okay, good. We're going to start using them tomorrow again. Okay. So what are the bets that they'll complain about the timers today?
Pretty high, pretty high.
Yeah. So it is funny. I always feel like when I do kind of an object lesson like that, which we've done multiple times, and it's not like I'm sneaky about it, you know. I'm pretty upfront about like what we're doing and why. But I don't know. I feel like it might have an effect, but it'll be like a long time from now. You know. I don't know. It's just funny. Raising
okay.
kids is so weird. That's my week check.
Raising kids is weird.
Raising kids is weird.
Your kid wants a motorcycle.
Yeah.
I watched Gargoyles. That's a good sum up.
I mean, the truth is, he's going to get a motorcycle. When he wants to do something, he can see it through. And I think I'm going to ask him if I can take it for a ride every once in a while.
That'll be fun.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. John Wick. No, I'm kidding. Constantine. I'm so excited, you guys. Okay, listen.
Or the full title of the movie, John Constantine.
John. It's actually just Constantine.
Constantine, yes.
Which I'm going to tell you so many fun facts about everything here in just a second. But first, we're just going to do a really quick sum up of the movie. I'm also super caffeinated.
I'm going to start with my amazing summary.
Yeah, Josh had a really good summary because I told them I wanted a quick summary. So
Josh's
got it
summary does include spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is the note. If you haven't watched Constantine and you don't want spoilers before you watch it, pause here, go watch the movie. It's only 2 hours long, and then you can come back and finish the episode.
And I just want to pipe in. It's worth it, I think, to see the movie, no spoilers, and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I agree.
So, yeah. We're going to talk about it, and it's going to be great. But it could be cool for you to have an experience fresh before.
Super cool. Super green.
So yeah, the summary of the movie is that Satan cures a man with cancer. He prevents the birth of the Antichrist. Saves a woman who's about to be killed by a bad angel,
And frees a lady from hell.
And frees a lady from hell.
Yeah.
Satan really is kind of the hero of this movie.
Okay. Not really, but that was a perfect summary. That's like the Lord of the Rings summary where they're like, man obsessed with jewelry starts fighting people about it. Okay, so here, do one of you guys want to do the summary? Because I have all these other things to talk about.
Yeah. Sure.
Actual
And
summary.
You wanted it to be
Nice and
not
brief.
too much time on
Yeah.
it. So we're introduced to a bunch of characters kind of just on the fly, which I really enjoy about the movie. But John Constantine, turns out he is working in the occult, and it's very Catholic based what he's doing, and he's doing exorcisms and stuff, clearing out demons. And as the movie goes along, he's uncovering like this plot where it seems like the balance between like what heaven and hell can do is maybe being what's the word?
Tipped in the direction.
Yeah, it seems like the hell side is breaking the rules and not
Shocker.
not adhering to the balance. And
Spoiler, the hell side is actually the bad guys.
oh man,
Contrary to what Josh just said.
You really let that out of the bag.
Yeah.
Anyway, he meets a lady who's kind of skeptical of the whole thing, but turns out she has some psychic abilities or whatever, and they uncover the plot and save the day. And yeah, I don't know. There is another arc there that, John has some special abilities that have let him see things that most people don't, and it drove him to the point where he killed himself. And killing yourself being a mortal sin means that he is destined to go to hell. But the suicide was only successful for a couple minutes, and he was revived. And so now he's spent the rest of his life, because he knows that he's going to hell, trying to rack up enough good deeds to kind of win his way back into heaven. And that's also part of the narrative there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
beautiful.
There you go. Is there anything to add?
Anything important?
Let's see. I think it's. Let's see. We're introduced to Gabriel,
Mm-hmm.
who is Tilda Swinton,
Mm-hmm.
and I like that she talks to John, and they're talking about something, and he's like, "I believe," and she's like, "No, there's a difference,"
Mm-hmm.
which was funny. That's kind of the idea that like people that have these gifts are kind of condemned, which is an interesting theology because the burden of proof is higher, so their faith has to be consequently higher. Like, anyway, the other thing that I think would be added is that the lady that he meets, what's her name?
It's not Isabel. That's
Angela.
her sister, Angela.
Angela, yeah. And she is a twin. Her sister is Isabella. Isabella, we meet her when she leaps off a roof to kill herself. And Angela sees the death in a dream, so we know she has some kind of psychic powers. And then we find out the two of them had the same psychic powers. But Angela was like, "No, I don't see weird things," because they were going to commit her sister.
Yeah, she didn't want to be committed.
Yeah, and she was like, "No, I'm good. I'll stay. I won't talk about it." And then she stopped seeing them. So they have to, a big part of it is they have to reawaken her powers, and then Gabriel's plot to bring back the child of Satan involves her.
Her being
so
reawakened.
she has to reawaken her powers in order to
Yeah.
birth the devil, sort of.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's
so they sort of
fantastic.
play
Be a
into
vessel. Yeah.
Yeah.
their efforts that awaken it in her are playing into the hands of the.
Yeah, it's like
The
both
enemies.
sides are actually trying to get the same thing done, but in very different ways.
Yeah.
Like to
Yeah.
awaken her.
Yeah, well, because Gabriel is completely off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Insanely.
And is helping.
Tilda Swinton does such a good job.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I liked her last line or whatever, where she's like, "You could have shot me. Look how good you're doing."
Yeah.
And she's essentially like, "See, my plan was right."
Yeah. Like just so insane. Yeah. Yeah. So there's the movie in a nutshell. And it's good to have that there because we're going to be talking about like how some of this happened, some deleted scenes, the history of it, some of the like real drama with starting the movie in and of itself. And then I have so many like little things that I'm curious if you guys picked up on them or what while watching it. So we'll kind of reference back to these characters and so you kind of have an idea. So John obviously is played by Keanu. And okay, he wasn't. All right, I'm trying to figure out the best way to start because I'm just like I'm so caffeinated. There's things all over, but I think it's good to start like way, way, way back in the beginning. So before Constantine was a movie, it's based off of the comic book Hellblazer. Have you guys heard of it or read it at all?
Only in passing because of the movie.
Constantine, yeah. Same for me. I definitely watched Constantine first. So I was not one of the people that was like, "Oh, I love this character Constantine," and then watched the movie. So Constantine first shows up in like a Swamp Thing comic way back in the day as like a side character. And then they turned him into his own comic called Hellblazer. And he's a blonde-haired British guy in a brown trench coat. And otherwise very similar. Like he smokes a ton and has a similar like attitude that John in the movie has. But it's all based, like the comic is all based in like London area. So really the movie took what the director and the writer said was they took the soul of who John was and that's the movie they made instead of being accurate to the comics. Which was a huge outrage. People were so mad about it because the Constantine that they read, like the people that read the comics, I think there was a slightly similar outrage for about 2 seconds when Aquaman was said to be played by Jason Momoa because he looks nothing like
The
Aquaman in
traditional
the
Aquaman.
comics. But then we were like, Jason Momoa, it's fine. Like, also, like as somebody that loved Aquaman before Jason Momoa, like many years
Before it was cool.
before. Yeah, I liked him
Yeah.
before he was cool. Which I think that there's a few people like that. I haven't met any personally, but I know they're out there.
Or you believe they're out
I
there.
believe we all believe in each other.
There's dozens of us.
Yeah,
Dozens.
dozens. But I was like, look, if it makes people realize how cool Aquaman is, I'm fine with that. So also Jason Momoa did an excellent job. But that's not the attitude that they took because Hellblazer was actually a very popular comic and lots of people liked it. So they were really upset about that. But so that was like already a backlash that was constantly happening on the internet and everywhere before the film came out. And the writer that was involved, so I watched this whole documentary that was from the writer because he was like, there's a few things I have to clear up because every time I go to Comic-Con I get the same dang questions. He's like, I'm tired of answering them. So the first is there's not really a second Constantine happening. They keep talking about it and they keep saying that it's close. He's like, I'm unaware of it actually happening. So they talk a lot of talk, but it's not actually in the works that they're aware of.
Starring Shia LaBeouf.
How recent is that statement he made?
I think a couple years.
Because there's rumors.
I guess that's my point. There's always rumors.
Man.
So until I see something a little more concrete, I'm just going to, I think they just love it so much and it's become such a cult classic that people desperately want it. And I think that they said the only way they'd do it if they got all the original people, which makes sense. Anyways, so he, what was odd for him, as he was describing it, was he was actually a writer on it the entire time, which doesn't happen often. Apparently there's like writers after writers and they kind of like create an amalgamation of writers that have made the full script. So he talked about the original version of Constantine was originally called Hellblazer. But that was the first thing to go because they were really worried people would confuse it with the franchise Hellraiser. Mm-hmm. And so they didn't want there to be any
That's
crossover.
the one with the guys with all the pins in their face?
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
Correct.
Yeah. So they didn't want there to be, because it was also sort of like demon-y horror stuff, and they didn't want there to be any accidental crossover there. So they changed the name to Constantine. And then the original director, Tarsim, what's his last name? Tarsim something.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mr. Something.
Yeah. So he was a Tarsim something. It's a cool name. I feel bad that I don't remember it. But Josh will find it here in just a second.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
He might.
But the original director and the original actor for Constantine had an entirely different feel for the movie. So the original actor for Constantine was Nicolas Cage. And the idea for the film was based a little bit more on work that Tarsim had done previously. So it was supposed to be very surrealist, very kind of...
Tarsim Singh.
Yes, Tarsim Singh. So it's supposed to be very surrealist and have like over-the-top costumes and very like Dali-esque scenes and worlds created.
Salvador Dali?
Salvador Dali.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's the one with like the melting clocks and the elephant
right.
with like hugely long stick legs, that kind of stuff. So just supposed to be this like insane, super colorful, crazy over-the-top thing. Which was funny because in some places I read, they were like, so Tarsim and the writers had a lot of like backlash, and there was backlash with the other director because The other director didn't want to do it, and so Tarsem quit because he wasn't going to be able to have his vision, and that's why Nicolas Cage quit, because Nicolas Cage wanted to work with Tarsem, and he wanted this over-the-top thing. But in other places I read, they said that Tarsem didn't want Nicolas Cage because he was afraid Nicolas Cage was too insane, because it was like the peak of Nicolas Cage. If you're imagining like Face Off Nicolas Cage, did you see that movie?
Yes.
I didn't.
He's insane. He does such a good job playing. So Nicolas Cage is playing, what's his name? Grease Lightning? Travolta.
Yes.
Playing Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
It's, anyways,
Yeah,
it's a crazy
that's
man.
a different.
And so some reports say that's why Tarsem quit, is because he didn't want Nicolas Cage, but then Nicolas Cage didn't want to do this like dark noir version that they were talking about, so Nicolas Cage quit. So they were doing a bunch of rewrites, and the writer was told that he would have to audition to continue writing on the script for Constantine against a bunch of other writers to like rework the script. And he was like, I don't want to. So he just wrote the first scene of the film and handed it in like it was like that's his job.
Mm-hmm.
And then they read it. They're like, this is actually really good. We'll keep him. And so they kept him.
Hold on, I love that he's like, I don't want to audition, and then he auditions.
Audition anyways. I thought the
Here's
same
my
thing. I was
audition.
like, is that not an audition? But that's like how he said it. So I guess auditions maybe entail something different. And then he talked about how, so as he was developing the story, they knew that they wanted the soul of the character to be this dark brooding guy. And so he was like, but there has to be some reason that John keeps surviving, like something special about John. And we already know that he uses all of these like talismans and like artifacts and that kind of stuff, but like lots of people have access to those, and he's like, I got it, he'll see things. And
So that wasn't in the original comic?
not that I'm aware of. I think that the big departure is that he created all the rest of the story unreferenced to the original comic. Like the only thing that is consistent from the comic that I read is that his name is John Constantine. He's an exorcist and uses talismans and stuff like that. And that, like he can like see all this stuff. Also that he's a curmudgeon.
Okay. So he can see stuff in the comics.
From what I understand, yes.
But he's not damned because of a suicide?
Again, I didn't actually research that a whole lot. I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. But that's what the writer said, like as he was working it. So as he was working the story, it just was really interesting, the thought process that he had, because as he was working the story, he was creating the story to solve problems that he had. So he had this scene where the younger Constantine kills himself and then is revived, and so he's damned to hell, and so he needs to save himself from hell. And then he's like, okay, but I want there to be this like female balance, but I don't want her to have the same story as him, because if she also did the same thing, like that's pretty redundant and not exciting. I got it, twins. And so now we'll have twins for them. And she'll just be like a really powerful psychic. And then so as he's writing, there's a whole bunch of things that were added. So there's this whole side story that you don't see because she's cut almost entirely out of the film. So originally, and it was entirely shot, John is dating a demon ghost that like lives in his apartment. And she's corporeal, like those other like quote unquote ghost demon-y things that are in the hospital. And so he has scenes where they're like in his apartment, they're in bed together, they're talking.
So is that why he was like, I don't want another ghost following me around?
Exactly.
In the film?
Yeah, because they cut her out, but they didn't redo that scene.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I had just assumed that was a comment about his like people who have died on the way,
Yeah.
on his path.
Which I think you can make it that way. I think that's maybe why they didn't make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
But it is like in reference to the fact that he actually has a ghost girlfriend, demonic girlfriend. But they ultimately decided to cut her out of the film because they felt that it softened John too much. And they wanted him to be this sort of like hard curmudgeon that's sort of a jerk and like not as easily connected to with the audience. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
They wanted to harden him up a little bit.
I
as a
think that it
character.
was a great choice.
Yeah.
Because for me, like who John is, so he's rude,
Mm-hmm.
he's brusque, he really doesn't give a crap,
There you go.
and I think that that's an important part of him, and I think that really adds to the I don't know, believability
Yeah.
of his experience, right? Because he is super jaded,
Mm-hmm.
very cynical. Like he knows things that other people don't, and he's like just I don't know how to what I'm trying to say, I guess, but like it makes sense that he doesn't care about all of the things that we usually think are important part of society, like being kind or whatever, like not being rude, because you shouldn't be rude. But he's like, I already know that I'm going to hell, and like just very jaded by all
Yeah.
this, and so it doesn't matter that he's rude, and he is just straight up rude.
Yeah.
Um, it's almost hard sometimes, like to watch, because like, come on, man,
Try a little.
a little bit.
And he doesn't. And I agree. I absolutely agree. I think it's definitely the right choice. But they did leave her in. I actually really liked this. They did leave her in the film. She has one line. It's in the
Is it the
hospital.
holy water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the water comes down. So when they're at the hospital and his assistant Chaz puts a relic in the water tanks and then they have the sprinklers come on and so it's holy water. And that's her that says it. She goes, "Holy water," and then dies or whatever, gets shot, whatever happens. What's great is because she is on screen and has a single line, she was still able to get paid for her work and maintain that contract. And so she still is receiving royalties for doing this film. And she's like joked in it in interviews and stuff because she has just, it's down to this one line, but she still gets a paycheck from
So wait,
Constantine.
is then in this version, his girlfriend turns against him
Yeah.
and joins the crew, the bad gang of devils?
Of devils, yeah. Yep.
That's a bummer.
Or I don't know, but it could be that after they realized they had to cut those scenes, they wanted
They
to make
added
sure she
her.
had a line.
Yeah.
So I don't know if, I guess I don't know when they made the decision to cut her.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure when it happened, but yeah, she has that one line, and so she still gets paid, which I like. So anyways, as it got further along, the new director was trying to be chosen, and the new lead actor was chosen as Keanu Reeves. And so they were trying to get a new director, and Keanu was just doing like The Matrix. I think The Matrix 2 came out while they were filming Constantine. And he told them, he was like, I just don't want you to get somebody that does music videos. And the director they got had only done music videos.
Yeah.
And so he really had to like prove his like dark noir vision, because he was really kind of the one that pushed for this vision that we have as Constantine now. And Keanu listened and heard it and really, really liked it. And so he was like, all right, we'll see. And so, the film started, and, like, obviously I think the direction was correct, but they continued to have to figure out and solve problems, because the other big obstacle they came across pretty quickly was what would like the hell spawn and what would hell look like. And the director and the writer really, really wanted to do all new things. And so there's sort of a combination of things that created this hell, this version of hell. The director talked about how he really studied a lot of the like photos and videos from nuclear blasts and stuff like that. And wanted to have it look like that moment where the like heat wave is sort of hitting and everything is disintegrated, but like still there and getting blasted. And so that's kind of what hell looks like. And then they really wanted to make the like hellspawn something that was human and not human at the same time, but new. And so they took a lot of like the monster creators, because some of these are actual animatronics that they built, that they physically built, and then the rest is CG. But there's these monsters that have like this sort of morgue look, like their skin is collapsed in. It has sort of that pale, deathy color, but with sepia tones in it. And then the face is cut in half from like the nose cavity up. So they don't have a nose, and it's cut from the nose cavity up. So you can kind of see like the inner,
like where their brain should be.
Yeah.
Nasal passages and stuff.
Yeah. So they even like sniff with their nasal passages, but it's just like little movement because there's no nose there and there's no head above it. Because the director didn't want these like lower level guys to have eyes, because he didn't want that to be something anybody could connect to, which I thought was really interesting.
They have no windows into their soul.
Yeah, because they got no soul.
Because they got no souls.
So yeah,
What is that from?
Which part of what?
They got no souls. I feel like I'm hearing it in a Tim Robbins voice.
This happens to Brandon and I so often. I'll shout a quote out while we're fighting for democracy in Helldivers. I'll be like, Brandon, what's that from? Multiple times. I think the last one that I figured out was we were playing and I go, they're right on top of us.
Yeah.
And like the whole time I couldn't figure it out. And then we're like on our way back to the ship after the successful mission. And I was like,
Did you
yeah.
say Tim Robinson?
It is. It is from Coffin Flop.
I don't even know that.
I've never heard of it. But
So Coffin Flop is a bit where it's a fake TV show. It's a fake channel that just shows dead bodies falling out of coffins. And for some reason, they're always completely nude. So it'll be like they're carrying the body like to inter the thing, and the bottom just falls out. And the whole bit is that they're getting canceled because there can't possibly be that many bodies. So they must be doing something. And he goes, they can't sue it or whatever. They can't sue us because they got no souls. Oh no, it's some other clothes. Because they got no souls. Anyway, it's so funny.
Well, mine was from The Princess Bride.
yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
So they don't need permission from families because the deceased don't have souls.
Yeah, that's it. It's so great. We'll watch Coffin Flop later.
It's going to be episode 75.
Yeah.
Just a skit copy.
Just a 2-minute skit, if it's even that long. And then we'll talk about it for an hour.
Yeah, okay. So then, yeah, that's kind of the basics for how the film sort of became the flavor that it was. And they had to really push forward, even though there was constant backlash with the internet people being really angry. And then the other problem was the film was getting fairly expensive, like over 100 million. And the director wanted it to be rated R, but the producers, the studio didn't want an R rating when a film's that expensive because you get less return. So with that PG-13, they could make more money from it.
Right, a wider audience could attend.
Yeah, exactly. So he cut down way back on the horror of it, the like any of the scenes where you see like blood, the scene in the end where John is like cutting his own wrists. They bring the camera up so you don't actually see it, and there's no like sex scenes or anything like that. And then they gave it an R rating anyways, and the director was pissed. Like in interviews, like more modern interviews, he's still mad about it.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I would have pushed the horror, I would have pushed the blood, I would have pushed the guts, like
I'm
all of it.
surprised they never came out with a director's cut with all that stuff in it.
I mean,
think,
they probably didn't have, like, people weren't doing Snyder cuts back
yeah,
then.
it was 2005, which
They've done director's cuts.
yeah, I wonder if he just didn't like.
I guess that's the
film
difference.
it.
Is like
Yeah.
they like a director's cut back then would typically be like, oh, we have this complete footage that we can just add back in.
Yeah.
But if it like required heavy VFX, they wouldn't like authorize
Spend
them
the
to
money.
spend a bunch of money. Yeah.
Yeah, which they didn't do, and so I guess there was no capability for a director's cut. So he's just mad about it because they
Yeah.
still gave him an R rating. And he was like, "We followed all of your rules," because it follows all of the like quote unquote PG-13
Yeah, I noticed
rules.
there's only one F word, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's like no nudity, there's nothing like that really. And the people argued back saying like it feels R though. Like it just is real dark. And
Yeah.
because of the like occult and church references, they said that all of the things were much darker than they would have been if it had just been like regular fantasy violence.
Oh, so if they'd just been like regular suicide,
Yeah,
regular murder,
then it would have been fine.
but because the church was involved,
They had to make it R.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was the other like big drama that he's still a little bit hurt about. But now to the like fun things that I thought was really interesting about the film. Fun film facts.
Is there any chance that Josh could pipe in on a few? I'm just curious about his thoughts.
Oh yeah.
And now that he's freshly seen the movie, what do you got?
Oh yeah,
for
we should talk about that really quick before we get into the fun facts, because I loved this film when Brandon showed it to me the first time.
Yeah.
And I am trying to remember where I saw it. I can't remember if it was something I downloaded on my computer illegally, or if it
Don't
was.
admit that.
That-
They find Podly. They find us.
Or I think that it might have been. I might have been working at Blockbuster when this came out, and.
Blockbuster for our young Podly.
Yeah, it's a place where you could go and borrow movies like a library,
Yeah.
but you had to pay for it.
And they came in physical containers.
Yeah.
In things
These
called
discs.
VHS.
But so I mean I don't watch a ton of movies. But when I was working at Blockbuster, I watched a ton of movies because I got free rentals, and people would come up to me and ask for recommendations.
Yeah.
Like the
And
only
they're
reason you'd work at a Blockbuster is because you love film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would think, right? And I'd be like, I'm not sure. I haven't seen any of these. So I was just like watching constant movies.
He was constantly
Ah,
sing end of pod. Like, I can't do better than that.
but yeah, I watched this and I loved it. I didn't know how poorly received it was.
If you'd
And-
known, you wouldn't have loved it.
Yeah,
so
I
much.
definitely wouldn't have.
Which
no.
is funny because it really was really poorly received by like the critics. The critics hated it, but then what was odd was it was the viewers, the people that had mostly complained about it. They're like, "All right, it's actually really good."
Like episode 25, we watched The Godfather, which people will say arguably the best movie in the world, or whatever. Like look at lists,
One
it's
of the
top,
best of all time.
right?
yes.
Yeah. If you go look Constantine up, it's a 46 on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So
Yeah.
I introduced Kelly to it. I didn't ever think, I don't know, to introduce. I don't
Yeah,
know.
why not?
You know what? I think you do your own thing so much. So I'm like,
He knows.
yeah, he'll either get there or he wasn't interested. But Kelly, she might like this.
I am adrift in a sea.
Oh, that's funny. I do watch a decent amount of movies, not as much as I wish I could. Maybe I should work at a Blockbuster.
Yeah.
There you
You should
go.
open a
Yeah, we
Blockbuster.
should bring it back so I can work there and watch movies all the time.
Yeah.
I
You'll give
honestly,
yourself free rentals.
I think Blockbuster would kill with Gen Z.
Yeah,
Like
because you know
they're
what?
really into physical media. They're really into spaces where you can like come together and mingle.
Did you see that they were like, I have this really great idea. It's where you get home and you just put your phone on a stand and you can even like plug in like a receiver. So you have to be by the phone to answer it. And then you just leave it there so that you can't walk around the house with it. You like go outside and it's still there. And I was like, you just invented the home phone, guys.
The landline.
The landline.
Yeah.
Like it's not anything new. But they do tend to like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay. So here's my pitch is make a Blockbuster, have above the Blockbuster like a viewing, like a lounge where you just have movies going all the time. So it'd be and then below that is like here's all the movies, you can pick them up on DVD or whatever. I think that would be a lot of fun. Like and I think that I don't know if it would kill, but I think you could make one. And maybe you
Serve
like
coffee and they'll come.
yeah, and like you could do other physical media. So you could have CDs and LPs and kind of make it a physical media hub instead of just Blockbuster. But I think,
You're onto something.
yeah, like Best Buy no longer sells 4K Blu-ray. Like they don't sell Blu-ray hardly at all anymore. Basically, everyone that used to sell it has stopped. So there's a market for it now. Anyway, what I thought of Constantine.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard to get past the Keanu Reeves of it all.
I think it's his best film, maybe.
You think it's his best film?
It's one of my favorite Keanu Reeves films, which is saying a lot because I love John Wick.
Yeah. But like he kind of Keanu Reeves is always funny to me because he's one of the few actors who doesn't like this is gonna sound awful. He's not a great actor. Like and I don't mean it somehow I don't mean that disparagingly. I don't know how that I can be like, you know what you do for your living, you're not very good at it, are you? But like he kind of it's the same delivery every movie, you know? He doesn't make a big difference and he uses the exact same voice and he's kind of the same character. Like you look at The Matrix or John Wick or John Constantine or
Bill and Ted's Excellent
okay,
Adventure.
he's a little different in that.
Yeah.
I'll grant that. But like he's always kind of the same guy of like a jaded, you know, action hero-y.
Only when his name is John.
Yeah, and his delivery is always very similar, you know. He never worries about putting on an accent or anything. Does he ever do an accent of any kind?
Is that the metric for a good actor?
No, but yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Is like he just does his thing. Like he's the same person. He brings the same level of commitment for good, I think, for the most part, right?
He's crazy. He's always crazy committed.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, in John Wick, he's in physical pain the entire filming.
Yeah.
And he's still doing all of his stunts and running. And he took, like, speed loading courses so he could be fast with the gun. And he's the one that invented the
little
Wick.
flippy thing.
Yeah,
Flip the spent magazine.
Yeah, to flip out the spent magazine and put a new one. He invented that.
Yeah.
And gun people now are like, you do the Wick all the time. It's so cool, you know, because, like, he came up with it. So he's, like, super, super dedicated. But I get what you mean. Like, when Keanu Reeves talks, it's Keanu Reeves. Like, you can definitely tell who it is. He has a very similar canter a lot. But I do think that it's, like, I don't know, there's, like, that commitment there that makes it excellent.
But yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I guess I feel like defending this a little bit.
Yeah.
In that, so is Keanu Keanu, however it's supposed to be said, an amazing actor? Maybe not in some of the ways that, like, I don't think he's ever going to get an Oscar or anything like that for, like, best performance. But I think that he does have, like Kelly was saying, like a very committed to the roles. And I think that he takes roles that he can do. And so, like, maybe it is very similar, like, results. But I think that's because he's picking roles that fit him and he can kind of be himself in them a little bit more. I don't know. I think there's there's many actors that are this way, right? Like if you watch a movie with Ryan Reynolds, you're watching a movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that's true.
And
or The Rock is never not The Rock.
Well, he tried like the Smashing Machine, right? He tried to be a little different.
Well, I've never even heard of that.
I've never heard of it either.
So it must not have gone over great.
I remember in
The Smashing Machine?
Yeah, I think that's what it's called.
That's the name of a movie?
Yeah, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Wow. Okay.
But he tries to be but like that was his big like I'm going for an Oscar. And here's the thing about Keanu Reeves, he is so fully committed, but you never get the idea that he's like, this is for the Oscar. I'm doing this.
It's just for the character.
Yeah. Like honestly, I find this is again going to sound awful. I find it inspiring that he's someone who should not be a movie star, and yet through sheer stubbornness was like, no, I'm going to do what other people won't do. I'm going to commit to the bit 100%. I'm going to be a movie star. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
There also is an element of he is such a good human that I'm really glad he's very successful.
Yeah, definitely. If anybody deserves to be a movie star, it seems
Keanu
like
Reeves.
he does.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that he exists as a movie star, because you can always point at least out to him and say, not all movie stars are awful people.
Yeah.
Look at Keanu.
Yeah. Like, compare Keanu Reeves to Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp is an incredibly talented actor, right? But you just get, immediately you go, oh, but I don't like him. I think he's not a good human being. You know? And Keanu Reeves is the exact opposite.
Yeah.
He's the anti-Johnny Depp.
And he plays Johns.
Yes!
Yeah.
That's the hint he's been leaving this whole time. Anyway, okay, back to the movie. So yeah, Keanu Reeves being Keanu Reeves, it's just is what it is. But he does a good job in the film. I really liked some of the interesting choices that they made. So like it is a very noir film, which had kind of a resurgence in like the late 90s, early 2000s. That idea, but like his apartment, you could have filmed like a old pulp detective film in that, you know? Like even he's got like the clawfoot bathtub or whatever, like it's very...
And all the patterns on the floor.
Yeah. That apartment is insane. Like it's so dilapidated, but massive, and I'm just
magical.
Like, where is this place? It's crazy
supposed to
cool.
be in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So cool.
And Los Angeles.
The shutters.
Yes. The plantation shutters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, why does he have gobs and gobs of bottles of water by the windows?
It's holy water. It's his own barrier
so
into his apartment.
That's kind of what I figured it was protecting. But it's funny to put it in just like the 5-gallon things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I also love that they don't explain that to us.
Yeah.
Let me just pipe in that I love that they don't explain almost anything.
Yeah.
Like this is peak storytelling for Brandon.
Yeah.
I don't want you to force feed me a story. It's why I've always loved all the Souls games, is that it's a breathing, living world and you're just dropped in it and just catch up. Because we're moving this story forward.
And you just have to pick it up as you go.
There is one part that feels expositional, and that's when they're going to meet Papa Midnight for the first time, and Chaz's character is like, take me to the bar. This is Papa Midnight. He's legendary, and starts like talking about some of the stuff, and I think that they get away with it a little bit because Chaz is just
Cocky
like fanboying about stuff and really wants to be involved. But that's the only time where I'm just like, this exposition is a little heavy-handed.
Yeah.
But the rest of it is just like, it's a conversation that people would have because they know that the other person in the conversation already has the backstory.
Yeah.
And so like...
Yeah. What's funny is like, I feel, okay, I definitely agree. Most movies, especially this is like the Netflixification of movies. Have you heard of some of the stuff that they say? So like Netflix, they have rules about how you have to make a Netflix movie. And one is you have to explain the plot 3 times before the halfway point or something like that. Like you can't say anything important once. It has to be said multiple times. If there's text on screen, people have to read it aloud because Netflix is assuming that you're scrolling your phone while you're watching the movie, right? Yeah.
Okay.
These are the real rules that they made. And what you'll notice is that it's kind of creeped out into the broader filmmaking, so that films have kind of become dumber in order to capture the attention, hopefully. So that's like they have rules of like you have to have a major explosion within the first 90 seconds or something. Like there's all these rules Netflix made that are like through the algorithmic stuff we've determined this is what it takes to get people to look away from their phones, right? Which maybe that's effective, but it doesn't make for good filmmaking, you know?
No.
In a modern film, I think Chaz is the apprentice, that's what he calls him. He would have been nipping at Constantine's heels the whole film, so that every scene he could go, oh, what's that thing there? Oh, this is a cross. Demons don't like them. Oh, what's this drink over here? That's holy water. You make it with a cross and water.
blessing,
Yes.
yeah.
And then he could have been like,
Yeah. Somebody would have been like, why do you have all these bottles?
yeah,
So that John could explain what's going on all the time. Yeah, you're right.
yeah. So I agree that I like when the filmmakers trust the audience to a
I
certain
was going to
extent.
say, I liked that they assumed I was smart enough to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that tone is set almost immediately when the priest, and I can't remember his name, the guy
The
who could
one-
see the ether.
Yeah.
Um,
I forget his name too.
like he pokes his head out and is like, I found you one, John. And that conversation right there is just like, I think makes it very clear the movie's not going to hold your hand and you need to just figure things out, because the conversation they have is no exposition.
Yeah.
There are some things, right? John takes off his amulet. There's a comment John makes, like the priest takes a sip out of a flask, and John makes a comment about him. Oh, I see you've been attending a lot of meetings, right? Saying something about his alcoholism, and he says this. It keeps the voices out, like he's justifying. It's not an out of place statement. He's justifying his actions to John, but it lets us as the viewers know that this guy's got something, like he's also got some otherworldly abilities, and he's hearing things, and he's kind of numbing it with alcohol. And they introduced the amulet at that time, and I just really appreciate the storytelling.
Yeah. There's so many, like, and I'm going to talk about quite a few of them when you're done, but there's so many little things in there that, like, I think that it's meant to be, like, you're meant to think about it afterwards and, like, look it up or examine it a little more. Like, there's value in watching it more than once, I think.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Sorry, we haven't.
Let you finish.
We keep interjecting.
We keep
No, you're good.
interjecting.
That's great.
Yeah.
Another thing so again, the choice of the tone to make it noir I liked, and some of the locations are fantastic. I like when filmmakers choose a really weird location for something. Which location am I thinking of?
Is it the
Bowling
library?
alley.
The bowling alley.
Okay, dang it.
Yeah. The bowling alley. Like, what a weird choice to have someone have so one of the characters has their little like hidey hole above a bowling alley where all the machinery is.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's something you don't normally see in everyday life anyway. And then like why have him in an old bowling alley? And like you can see there's an instant where like the machines turn on and it's kind of a jump scare, right? But like it's such an interesting choice. And I really like that. Or like I really like the detail of when you go to the to Papa Midnight's, you have to read what's on the back of the card.
Of the
Yeah.
card.
That's such a funny detail.
Yeah.
But like it just gives color to the world, And again, another thing that they don't explain that you kind of pick up on, right? And
Yeah.
it's just kind of funny. So like I really like when they include all these little tiny world building pieces that add to the kind of cumulative effect of immersing you in that universe,
Yeah.
but that aren't fully explained, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that aspect of it a lot. Overall, I didn't love it, but I appreciated it. Like, I think there was a lot of it that, like I can see why it would be a cult classic. I also can see why critics would watch it and be like, meh,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because Brandon and I were talking because I was maybe a little overexcited about all the things that I was learning about this film, and I called Brandon while I was like walking around Harmon's. I was like, Brandon, they wanted Nick Cage originally for John Constantine. And Brandon goes, do you think this is going to be one of the films where it's the reverse of last time, where like you and Josh loved it and I was like, meh, and now you and I are going to love it and Josh is going to be like, meh, like, the odd man out a little bit. But it is like, even if you don't love it, there is a lot to appreciate about it. So yeah. And let's get into some of the fun details that I've just been dying to tell you.
Okay, hit us.
Unless you have something else you want to say about the film. Okay, so in making the film, there are some really cool hidden things that the more you discover, the more interesting I found them. So the first one, I'm just going to kind of take you through the order that I went through because that's just how my brain is. So obviously, the first one, there's a scene where you see a painting, and I don't know if you guys recognize this painting, where there's Christ on a cross.
Oh, they're stabbing him.
Yeah.
And they're stabbing him, and there's the two thieves on either side. And I was like, man, this painting looks so familiar. So I went through and I found the scene and I screenshotted it on my phone so that I could Google Lens it because I was like, it just seems so familiar to me. I feel like it's by Rubens, like Peter Paul Rubens. It has that sort of feel. And I looked it up, and it's almost identical, which it actually isn't technically by Rubens. So it's by an artist that worked in Rubens' workshop. And so originally it was attributed to Peter Paul Rubens for a very long time. And then they were like, we actually believe this was done entirely by Van Dyck, who worked in Rubens' shop for a bit. But the painting in the movie has Christ looking in the other direction. It's almost identical, but Christ is looking in the other direction, and there's some slight differences, but it's like clearly a version of this. And I don't know if they like couldn't get a version of it, and so they did their own, or what happened, or why. I don't know if there's any other meaning to it other than that. But
do they have him looking at Saint Ignace or whatever his name is, the penitent thief?
Maybe. I'd have to look. But what do you know what the name of the painting is called that I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
Thrust of the Spear is what it's called, which I was like, that is the like key moment of this film, is the thrust of the spear. That is what both sides are fighting about, right? Because in the film we learn that there's a spear called the Spear of Destiny. That was the spear that stabbed Christ while he was on the cross. And that spear is working its way all the way back to the hospital that the sister jumped off the roof from. And the way to release Satan's son into the mortal realm is a like heavenly divine creature has to use that spear and thrust it into a powerful psychic to allow him to release. And so I was like, that's just so interesting that the painting that they picked is called Thrust of the Spear, which is the main idea of the film, which I thought was really cool. And then I looked up the spear itself, the prop, and it is a reused prop. It was in a previous movie.
Indiana Jones.
Good guess, but no.
Oh, darn it.
Think less cool.
There's a lot of movies that are less cool than Indiana Jones.
Ohio. Ohio Jones.
Ohio Jones. Hellboy. It was in Hellboy.
Really?
Yeah, it was the spear used in Hellboy as a main prop. And so they took that and they distressed it way the heck down and turned it into the Spear of Destiny that they reused in that film. So they didn't have to make it from scratch. And so that is used through the film. And they did try and like reuse a bunch of things, but in cool ways or like morbid ways. The electric chair that they found was an actual, I think 312 people had been.
So it was a real electric chair.
That was a legitimate statement.
Yeah.
Because Papa Midnight says something about how many souls crossed through that chair.
And it's because it actually was an electric chair that was used and decommissioned, and they got it for that scene. And which I think is just so nuts. And then the relics that they used, they wanted them to have like, they didn't want to explain it, but they wanted it to have like real background. Do
you have anything on that keychain that Keanu uses to at the beginning of the movie?
No, that's not one that I should have. I didn't really look up a lot about that one. Because I think it's just like isn't it the Celtic protective cross?
Well,
No, no,
so
he's talking about the
he had
very
like
first
this
exorcism,
collection of different
Oh,
crosses,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he was like,
holding him
yeah,
up to
you
see
don't know
which
what's
one.
going on at first,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
figure out like he's holding these crosses up to the sun to see which one the demon reacts to strongest.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what they said about that one is genuinely they just wanted him to have like they wanted to show that the character like this is his thing and he just always has the right tool for the right job and he's been collecting for a long time. So like just kind of a Swiss Army knife of medallions of different things. And so he just goes through until he finds the right one to use. And he also about that scene, they were like they wanted it to seem like it was the most impersonal thing. Like he didn't do any research before he got there. He didn't know the person before he got there. He just like shows up with his Swiss Army knife, finds it, and then like physically punches the girl. When everyone else is like, "That's her," he's like, "I don't care. It's John." He just like punches her and like burns her with the medallion. And it's just very like rough, and he doesn't care. And they talked about the mirrors as well. The director had this idea that demons should be very vain and they don't have the ability to like love and praise themselves in hell or whatever it is. And so the way to capture them is by them seeing their own reflection, because they're naturally these very like vain, self-centered creatures, and they can't help it. And so they bring in the mirror, and he pulled that idea from. And I can't remember if we've talked about this before, but in like older, like medieval, and even during like what's the word I'm looking for? What is it? It's not Regency. Um,
The Renaissance.
it's not the Renaissance. It's something else. It's like if you are imagining like, Gothic homes and they have these big ornate mirrors and all that kind of stuff. They believed that mirrors could capture souls, or possibly capture evil. So when somebody died in your household, you had to go through and cover all of the mirrors so that the soul wouldn't get trapped within the mirror. And if you looked in the mirror, then you would be the next person to die. And so and that was like burial rituals and like death rituals that were around for a really, really long time. And so they would cover mirrors or flip them around. And so a lot of times in the family, like the oldest, what their job was, like the oldest child or whoever, their job was to make sure that all the mirrors in the house were covered or turned, so that the deceased would not get trapped and nobody else would get cursed. And so the director took that idea and sort of implemented it a little bit in the idea that it could trap the demons. Which is also why in the film, at the end, when Satan is holding on to his son, you can see him in the reflection of the water.
Yeah.
So I didn't look that up, but I did look up the medallion and where the heck did this is where I put it.
The one the priest was wearing that he.
No, so not the one the priest was wearing, because for me, I recognize that as like a Celtic knot of protection, and that it's just, I was like, it's just a knot of protection. I didn't even think of it, which I could be wrong. What I was thinking of is the medallion that is on John Constantine's lighter. Did you see that one?
Okay.
Yeah. So it is, which I thought was really interesting. So it's the Saint Benedict medal. Have you guys heard of that one? Because I had not. I'm not rich in Catholic lore, unfortunately.
Nor I.
So I'm going to explain it because I thought it was really cool. And I'm so good at reading other languages, as we've seen in the last couple German ones, that I think I'll do better with Latin. But it is...
And then she proceeds to read a whole Latin paragraph.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I summon a demon on accident. No, what's interesting is this is a symbol of protection and exorcism. So it's specifically tied to John in that exorcism way. And then on the cross itself, it's on one side that we don't see on his lighter is an actual like figure of the saint there, and there's like a broken cup and a raven and that kind of stuff. And then on the reverse side, the side that we do see is the Benedictine cross. And it's not, so typically when we see crosses, it's longer with more like a T, but this one is balanced where it's more like an X or a plus sign. So the center of the cross features a Latin acronym, so it's almost all acronyms. And the first one is a protective prayer. So it says CSPB, which says Crus Sancti Patris Benedicti, which the cross of the Holy Father, Benedict. And then crossing that on the other side, it has the abbreviations or the initials CSSML, which is Crus Sacra Sit Mi Lux, which is May the Holy Cross be my light. And then it says NDSMD, which is Non Dracus Sit Mi Dux, which is Let not the dragon or Satan be my guide. And then around the outer edges, it has VRSNSMV, which is Vade retro satana numquam suade mi vana, which is Begone Satan, never tempt me with your vanities. I was going to say vanity wrong. Anyways. And then SMQLIVB, which is Sunt mala que libas ipsi venena bibes, which is what you offer is evil, drink your own poison. And then at the very top it says Pax, which just means peace. And so that is the lighter that he carries around, which they did purposefully, that it's this symbol of protection and of exorcising evil, and it is the manner of which he lights every single one of his cigarettes, of which is killing him. And they wanted that because in the film, they thought that it was such an important thing to focus on, or at least hint to his like addiction. Like the irony of this man that is literally going out and like killing demons and risking his life is dying from a habit that he's putting into his own body. Because he has cancer from smoking cigarettes. And they make a comment about how he drinks like 30, or he smokes like 30 a day or something. I think probably
Since he was 15.
Yeah.
No, it was Gabriel who said,
Oh,
you
Gabriel.
36 cigarettes a day since you were 15.
Yeah. In the film, they show him smoke exactly 13 cigarettes to be like this sign of bad luck, kind of. It's like 13 is one of those numbers. With the ultimate cigarette, the last cigarette being lit by Satan for him.
Which
the
he
coffin
puts
nail.
out in his own blood.
Yeah, that was a funny detail too.
Yeah. Like so well done. It's like so interesting. So just these like little details of like you learn about this lighter that is supposed to be, he carries it as a protection and a blessing of exorcism against evil, and it is literally what's lighting his habit that's killing him.
And that's another, so this is another moment that feels very Dark Souls to me, is like they put so much work into the lighter that you can barely see. And if you don't see it in the after credits scene, you're probably not even going to know it had a cross on it.
Yeah.
And that there's so much built into it.
Yeah. And there's just a ton that's in there. And I think you could continue going over just so many, because like the writing that's etched around the door of his apartment is continued blessings and protections. He has a lot of those built in. They wanted him to just like effortlessly use these relics and just like kind of have them all over the place, because he needs to be ready constantly. Like the scene where him and Angela are in the road and all the lights go out and all the demons show up, and he's like, how did they cross over? He takes a cloth and wraps it around his hand and then lights that cloth. And there's no way you would know this, because it's not said anywhere in the film, But when you read about it and you listen to the director's commentary and stuff, it's a piece
The Shroud of Turin.
of Moses's
No.
clothing, like a piece of Moses's cloth.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is like this holy relic, and that's why it works. But close. I don't know if the church would let
Them burn the Shroud of Turin?
burn the shroud.
Probably not.
But he did get a piece of Moses's clothes that he burned. And so there's stuff like that all over the place. And yeah, I don't know. I just thought there's so many things to look at that the world is so rich, and I think that is my favorite part, that it isn't explained to you, but you get to like live in it and then crave more of it later, to like figure out what all these little things, like the water in his and like the whole story behind water, like how important water was to this as sort of a means of interacting between both heaven and hell. And even just the direction the camera's at. So the director talked about the reason that he did a bunch of different views.
He did so many Dutch angles. I was like, this guy.
What are Dutch angles?
It's when it's
off
tilted.
tilt a little
yeah,
bit.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not with the plane of the horizon.
Gotcha. So he did a bunch of those, but he also talked specifically about the like top-down views.
Yeah.
And he talked about that he wanted that to feel like you were looking down at the characters watching them, because it is supposed to be a representation of how God actually was paying attention and like watching at these moments, right? So he's like aware of what's going on and trying to influence in the ways that he could or would or whatever, with still listening. And I thought it was really interesting because I think we start the movie almost with like him getting out of the cab is
that's a top-down.
top-down view.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And I think there's not as many in the beginning, but towards the end of the film, there's a whole bunch of top-down views, like one right after the other, right? Where John...
Especially when you see John become heavy when Satan's dragging him.
Yeah.
That's a top-down.
Top-down multiple times. And it's top-down when he looks up to pray and like asks that God would listen to him for once. And a few other things that are really interesting. And so I thought it was interesting because, again, like it was different, and he wanted to have all of these different viewpoints that just reinforced without like hitting the viewer over the head. Yeah. Also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Chaz is the last thing that I wanted to talk about. And as like a interesting thing. So Chaz, they made that character to be the exact opposite of John. And so whatever John was, they wanted Chaz to be the opposite.
Is that why they gave him that goofy hat?
Probably.
So Shia LaBeouf is the opposite of Keanu.
Yes. Yeah. At least he was. And he's super chatty. He is like excited and exuberant. He like is constantly talking. He's like appreciative and patient with people. Like when the scene where Papa Midnight is like praying for them before they go off to the final battle, and Papa Midnight is starting his prayer, and not only is Chaz not quiet, but he's like, what is this? What's going on? And like talks, but also accepts the prayer from Papa Midnight. And when Papa Midnight turns to John, John immediately just goes, come on, and then like walks off, you know? So it's just like these polar opposites. And that was the point, was that they were supposed to be these opposite characters, almost to like highlight each other, but also I think to show the contrast of who they were. And then, of course, the end scene after the credits that most viewers did not know about. So at the end of the movie, in 2005, this was very uncommon to have a post-credits scene. And so, like, a huge number of the people that went and saw it in theaters didn't stick around, or even watched the movie, like, at home, didn't stick around for the scene because they didn't know that there was a scene afterwards, because that wasn't even a question. People weren't like, oh, is there a scene afterwards? Because that was just not something that was done in 2005. But the reason they like went back and filmed that scene extra because when they had done their like first showing of the film, like before it was finished and they did that like whatever that's called, screening.
Like a test screening.
Test screening, yeah. The director was like, everybody freaking loves Chaz. Like, everybody loved Chaz so much that they decided to go back and film a scene where he gets turned into an angel to tease his ending, but also a potential sequel. And yeah.
So is that how it works? Like you get turned into an angel, or what? I kind of wonder. So I was one of the people who never saw the post credit scene.
Oh, I have one other thing I wanted to talk about. Don't let me forget to talk about his tattoos.
Oh yeah, okay.
I was going to ask about that.
That's a good
Okay.
one.
That's good.
Is it so? It seems like angels aren't just something that humans get turned into, because Gabriel talks about humans being something very different from angels, and one of God's favorite creations, and part of her character arc is how unfair it is that they get so much of God's love without deserving it.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought that maybe him being there in angel form was letting us know that Chaz wasn't a human, and that like John had kind of a guardian angel the whole time.
Yeah. So I don't have an answer. I don't know if
It's
it
an
was that.
interesting interpretation.
Yeah, I assumed that because of his life, like he hadn't lived like a life where he was like trying to make up for his, like John was trying to buy his way out of hell, right?
Yeah.
Chaz just wanted to do good in the greatest way that he thought he could. So Chaz didn't have ulterior motives, right? So in my interpretation of it was that he had sort of been ascended into one of those like half, or like, because you see the guy that is over the priest, the father that died, that comforted him in after he drank himself to death. The guy that's sitting with him suddenly grows wings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assumed that he wasn't like Gabriel, but he was more of like a guardian, sort of how like demons walk the earth, like Balthazar can like whisper influences. I sort of imagine Chaz sort of as like he's become that and is able to whisper influences.
Yeah. I guess the question is whether or not humans can
Do that.
ascend
Yeah.
Transform
or whatever.
into angels.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if he was an angel the whole time.
If he was an
Secretly.
angel the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Like, because it is weird that the clerk, that wasn't it was just the clerk, right, at the store,
I think so, yeah.
who all of a sudden had wings, and either there's just an angel, like helping push for good, who also runs a convenience store that sells alcohol, or
he came
or it's
across
a human that I don't know.
I don't know. But I thought it was interesting, and I think if there was a sequel, we might be able to understand that lore a little bit more. But like the rest of the movie, they didn't explain anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So the
Tattoos.
real last thing is the tattoo on I almost said on John Wick's.
Yeah.
On Constantine.
How could you have
Well,
made
I
that?
What was
mistake?
nice is in the tub scene, the bathtub scene, he has rolled up his arms, and so you get an introduction
to the
like,
tattoos.
There are tattoos on his arm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then later,
It pays off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you
Chekhov's
want- you want-
tattoos.
Yeah. So here's what is interesting, and then okay, I keep saying the last thing because I was saving this last thing for the absolute last because I thought it was the biggest payoff for the whole film was Satan as a character, and I was curious to have you guys talk about it. So make sure if there's anything else you want to talk about because
We
I
talked
want
about it before. You
talk
for sure
about
want
before
that
we,
to be the last
yeah, that's
part.
for sure the
Okay.
last thing. So here's what's really interesting about his tattoos and what they do and what it might mean for the characters in the film. So the tattoos on his arms, when he brings them together, they're supposed to expose what even he can't see, which is supposed to be demons that are powerful enough that they can hide themselves from him. Because otherwise he can like see stuff, right? So, but the more powerful ones can be hidden and unseen. So what that implies, right? Because we know who killed Chaz.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Gabriel, unseen.
Mm-hmm.
And then he uses his tattoos, and who suddenly becomes seen? Gabriel. But that's only supposed to work on things that are not from heaven. So the theory is, which again, this is none of it is confirmed, but this is the theories that I've read, because when at the end of the film, when Gabriel threatens to smite Satan in the name of God, and Satan goes, looks like he doesn't have your back anymore, and Satan burns away Gabriel's wings and he becomes human. She becomes human. People are like, oh, God abandoned her, or Satan is powerful enough to do that. But there's a lot of theories where they're like, oh, God had already like relinquished that privilege from Gabriel before that because of Gabriel's actions, because John was able to force Gabriel to reveal herself. So that's the theory with his tattoos. But that is also the purpose of his tattoos. For whatever it is that he can't see, that's supposed to be able to force into the light anything hidden.
What are the tattoos?
Ink.
It looked like the Deathly Hallows.
I know. I thought the same thing. It looked like the Deathly Hallows from Harry Potter.
This
the
came
secret
first.
Yeah.
The secret crossover.
Yeah.
Right.
What
Oh,
were
no,
you?
I didn't.
Yeah, because what were you talking about that came for the upside down from?
Oh my gosh, yeah. The hell in this looks just like upside down from Stranger Things.
And you talk about the use of water, right?
Yeah, because she has to use water to get into it like they do here. And I was like, I wonder if that was an influence on them. Because basically nothing in that entire show is original. So,
correct.
Okay, what I wanted to talk about was the theology of the movie.
Okay, really quick. Here's what it says. It's the alchemical symbol of the Red King, the sulfur of the philosophers. When he brings his forearms together and says, "Into the light I command thee," the combined sigil forms a powerful spell that forces hidden celestial beings like Gabriel to release themselves. So I guess it does work on celestial beings. Look at that.
Interesting.
I think that she's still if she's not completely, she is definitely on the way towards being a fallen angel.
Yeah.
You knew that as soon as Tilda Swinton shows up.
Yeah.
She's never like a fully good character.
Yeah.
She's always morally ambiguous.
Yeah.
Okay, so the film obviously is highly influenced by Catholic theology.
Yeah.
Catholics have, it's a Catholic priest at the beginning. They have a confession. They're big fans of the relics and the saints and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But what's funny is they make it seem like it's a very, and I think that Catholicism also has been very like rules driven. Like these are the rules. You do these things, you get into heaven. You do these other things, you don't, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the crux of the movie is that he sacrifices himself after committing suicide for a second time. And then God says, no, you're good, right?
Yeah.
And so the implication is that the intent of the action matters just as much as the action itself, which is not necessarily a Catholic thing, I don't think.
Yeah. Okay. I see that.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought. I don't know. When I was thinking about this movie and us watching it and us talking about it, it is so very Catholic. At least, okay, wait. That is someone who is not Catholic saying that it is very Catholic. It's what
like
I,
media
as a non-Catholic, yes, like it's popular culture type Catholic. And I wonder what that's like to be Catholic and watch your religion be part of so many different things. Like, I mean, just popular culture, the occult and stuff like that is very often tied into Catholicism and Latin spells and just like all of this.
Yeah. I mean, it's such rich source material.
Yeah. But I guess, so, I mean, you're right that there are these hard rules. There's the scene in the library where Angela is petitioning for a Catholic burial for Isabel, but because she's committed a mortal sin of suicide, there's just no wiggle room.
Yeah.
It was weird. It is a weird idea, like John is so that Satan is like, all right, you did me a favor. What do you want? An
Yeah.
extension on your life? And John is like, free Isabel. And so Satan's like, it's done. And
But you do see he looks up and there's a top-down view.
Yeah, that's true. So do you think? So is Satan like
I
dealing
always
with
assumed
God?
that it was a communication.
Okay, and I think maybe that makes more sense because it's weird that Satan has the power to be like, you off to heaven you go. Like. But okay,
So yes, they
so
had
there's a little powwow with the big man.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's always what I assumed because
Played by John C. Reilly.
Yeah.
no, God is not played by anybody.
And I think it's interesting that the theology or whatever here, like it's in these kind of movies there's definitely a suspension of disbelief already, but like I was never in my religious upbringing, I never understood the concept of like the devil and God like having conversations. The story of Job, for instance, is just like doesn't make any sense to me. And this kind of has that. I mean, they had the powwow about Isabel's destination, and they agreed. She went to heaven, and it's just this idea that God and the devil are sort of like they're making bets on who can get the most souls. And
well, ultimately the bet is like whether humanity will tip to one scale or the other, right?
Right, which they measure by
souls,
collecting the souls of humanity.
Yeah.
And the ones that don't make it to heaven go to hell, and that's Satan's score.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm not even sure where I went with that statement.
Just interesting to think about.
Yeah. Like it is kind of funny that filmmakers use Catholicism as a source of material. Like they take it seriously and don't at the same time, if that makes sense. Like
they take lots of liberties and they get away with it.
Yeah.
Like up until today when I was thinking about it as we were coming together for this, I hadn't really thought about the fact that I just take it for granted that it's okay for you to do kind of whatever you want with the Catholic lore in movies and stuff. But I think there would be maybe a little bit more of an uproar if they picked a different religion to use.
If they made it Mormon theology,
or like a Jehovah's Witness, or something,
like that.
A Seventh-day Adventist.
Are there other religions that have relics and stuff like the Catholics do, though? Because that's fun.
That's fun.
That's good. Good stuff to get into. I mean, there's so many different like chapels and stuff that like we have the knuckle bone of this saint and it's in this altar.
Yeah.
And I'm unaware of that happening in other religions.
Maybe Satanism has something to offer.
Just look into that.
Okay, well, the thing is, I think that the reason that Catholicism has these kind of like the relics, for example, I think that's an underlying human kind of urge. Is to venerate like specific things and to have a connection to something in the past. So I don't think that theologically that's a Catholic like, oh yes, in the Bible it says put my bone in your altar and it's great, It's
a human thing.
Yeah, it's like a human thing. And like the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, which became the official Church of Rome, and Rome famously just kind of like absorbed religions and beliefs and stuff in order to keep the peace across their empire. And Catholicism did a very similar thing where like if there was a pagan holiday, they were like, well, it's a Christian holiday now, famously with Christmas and whatever,
and
right?
Halloween
and
stuff
Easter.
Like that.
So, like I think that's and like one of the things that a lot of the Protestants are against is some of this other stuff where they're like, that's pagan, that's not real Jesus stuff.
That's true.
Okay, I have
ancient Sumerian.
If you want to get into a big religious tangent, there's something that I'm really interested in.
Okay, I mean, I don't know.
I can cut whatever I want.
There's two things that have to do with this.
Okay.
So Yes, I will segment them so you can cut either one.
Okay.
Okay, so the first is the idea.
Give me a take where you say, I have one thing.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, in case
There's something I really want to share.
Okay,
There we go.
there's your good take.
And now you say,
go.
I have two things.
No, we already got, he
two
started
things
with
that I
two
really
things.
wanna
Oh,
say.
yeah, you already said that. Okay.
Okay, the first is, have you heard? Oh, wait, sorry. No, not the first. Okay,
Have
beginning.
You heard? Yeah.
As a thing.
That's the thing. Okay. My first, second, maybe first part, second part.
They both get cut.
Josh is like, I have a thing to say. And I'm like, cut.
No, okay, just record that. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I don't have anything to say.
What? Come on.
And now you can cut that in
Oh,
if you decide to cut them both.
Now I have options.
Yeah, you got all the options.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to get an Oscar for this.
So I'm reading a book called...
Better than Keanu.
Yeah. Take that. Mr.
That's how you
Reeves.
act.
All good comments if they were made. If they weren't, all good thoughts and prayers. Anyways, so the last thing that I want to talk about was how Satan is depicted in this film, because it has been like almost universally accepted as one of the best portrayals and most memorable portrayals of Satan in cinema.
Yeah. Love or hate this movie, you appreciate Satan
In this film. Yeah. And like literally there are things written where they're like, he is in, like, this is a 10-minute section of the film. He is on screen for 8 minutes and he is the reason people watch this movie.
Yeah.
It is so good. He's played by, what's his name? Peter
Stormare,
Stormare,
something like that.
Peter Stormare.
He's from Sweden.
Yeah, something.
He's Swedish?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
You thought he was Satan.
Yeah. I thought he was from hell.
It turns out the devil is a Swede.
He's a Swede. I want to hear your opinions, like your thoughts, because I remember seeing it, and if, just as a reminder, if you haven't seen it for a long time, or if you're watching this for not having seen the film yet, shame on you. How have you made it this far? Go watch the movie and come back. But he shows up in just an off-white, like, tweed suit, and has he has no eyebrows. His eyebrows are shaved off. And he has the hint of tattoos coming up from underneath the collar and the cuffs of his suit, but otherwise all white, with black stitching on the handkerchief that he has, and then black tar dripping from his feet.
He's barefoot.
The first you see of him, before you see him, you see big glorpy drops of black something.
Yeah.
And then
sizzling in the water that it lands in.
Yeah. And then you see his feet come down,
and
bare feet, and rest.
Yeah.
In a show that has everybody wearing shoes no matter what, even in the bathtub. Gabriel also has bare feet.
Yeah.
Gabriel
has bare feet.
came down and put her feet all over Keanu's face.
Yeah. I do think it's funny that they were like, there had to be something that the director was like, no, shoes mean they're human and bare feet mean they're
not.
whatever.
There is one point Keanu takes off his shoes
on the
sit in the
execution
chair.
Yeah, to sit in the execution chair, which is funny. Like, that's one of those things where I'm like, they made a choice about this.
Yes,
They're
they
trying to
did.
say something.
Yeah.
Because she got in the friggin' bathtub with her shoes on.
Yeah.
But I don't quite get it.
Yeah, I'm not 100%
Anyway,
sure.
continue. So yeah, Satan comes down.
he
We
comes
see his
down,
bare feet, his white suit.
Yeah, and his behavior is so interesting to me because sometimes it's like playful, childlike. When he first talks to John, he like claps and taps his feet on the floor. And then later when he's talking to John, it's like very primal and feels very animal when he gets like right up in John's face and like almost licks him with his tongue, just like so like ew. It's just like such an interesting subdued version of Satan, because I want to tell you what originally was designed.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Can we?
Yeah, you can talk about it first.
Let's talk about it before you talk about the original design, because for me this was a huge part of my enjoyment of the movie. Like everything up until then I had enjoyed, because I was willing to overlook the weird or the dumb choices or whatever, and really appreciate, you know, the other things that were resonating with me, like the storytelling and things like that. But when Satan came on the screen, I was just like, this is an amazing interpretation, representation of Satan, right? Because he's got that white suit, like he's trying to be holy, but the tar on his feet, and he's got this sallow look to his skin.
Like you can see his veins.
Yeah, his eyes are kind of red, and not his eyes, but like the skin around his eyes. Like he looks like he's just sickly, kind of,
A little
you know.
morbish.
But he's very animated and like vivacious. He's got a lot of life to him.
But also whispers half his lines.
Yeah, just so interesting. And there's so much there that is straight up going over my head. I'm sure that I'm missing tons of the symbolism or the choices that are being made, but a lot of times that is true for me. Like I'll look at a piece of art or I'll experience some music and I don't consciously understand the depth of it, but there is something there that speaks to me, and this speaks to me.
It's a real vibe.
What stood out to me today, there were two things.
I was like, is this a Church of Satan joke?
Yeah.
All right.
Previously, you were being a church, and then you're like, and the devil came out, and I was just like, I don't know, man. I like
get
this
it.
guy.
This guy, I am really vibing. I feel like he's a good guy.
He's not that bad.
Yeah.
He's not a bad
like, clearly,
Just,
he let Isabel go back to heaven.
Yeah.
I think he's got something going on here. No. Okay, two things that stood out to me was when he lit John's cigarette.
He teased him.
Closed. Well, the teasing was, this is classic Satan, you know. Right?
That Joker.
Yeah.
Classic Satan.
Yeah, not letting him get his cigarette lit right off the bat, but he does it, right?
Yeah.
But when he flicks the lighter closed at John, and John flinched. Like, John is this badass, like, he is...
Doesn't flinch.
He doesn't flinch from anything. He just, like, cool and calm, handles anything. It's a demon, baby, whatever. Here's the metal. Like, there's never a part where he's flinches. But he does right there over this silly little flink of the lighter in his face. And so that stood out to me. And then the other thing that stood out today was the haircut that they gave Satan. It made me think about how a few months ago I went into Great Clips and the lady didn't ask me where I wanted my sideburns, and she just cut them completely off. And Satan doesn't have any sideburns. She gave me Satan's haircut.
I thought you went in and asked for the Satan. Could you just give me the Satan?
Give me the
please?
Satan.
Okay, I have one thought too about it. Because you were talking about what it was originally planned with. They previously, like, all the other demons were like demonic, like, you know, red skin, like whatever.
Oh, even his son.
Yeah. Didn't look like him.
Yeah.
No.
And so I was like, so I imagine like they could have easily gone with like a cloven hoof, whippy tail, like maybe not a pitchfork necessarily, but you know, like I feel like they could have easily gone that route and it would have fit with the movie okay. But I do think this one makes it much more memorable, right?
Yeah. Would you like to know what he was originally planned to look like?
Yeah.
Sting.
Sting?
Like they wanted him to look like a rock star. Like they wanted him to come out in like leather, black leather, and like a chain, like spike collar necklace, like collar, and like act like, like specifically they mentioned Sting, like act like a rocker.
Can I just pipe in that that sounds like a joke? Because Sting has been said to be the best like portrayal of the original, like the comic book John Constantine looked like Sting. So
Yeah,
there's
he
like,
was modeled after it.
Yeah.
there's jokes about Constantine bumping into Sting or whatever, right? And then the idea that the devil...
Like they wanted him to look like this rocker guy
That's funny.
with a spiked collar, like dog collar thing. And they got the actor came in and he said no. And they were like, what? And he was like, I have an idea. Trust me. And they were like, okay. So it was almost entirely the actor
Really?
that changed it. And so he said what he wanted to do. He shaved his eyebrows without asking anybody, and told them what he wanted. And the director loved it. Like they were like, "This is 1,000 times better than what we had thought." And they were like, "The actor said trust me," and we did, and with good reason. You should always trust this actor. And they said they liked the tar coming off, or like whatever coming off him so much, that they made sure that it was also on the Hell's Bible. So they unwrapped it and had that same tar on it.
Yes. Okay. That came after.
I believe that's because that's how
I bet they went in and did that shot afterwards. Just the shot
Just
of
the peeling
opening
off
the
the cover of the Bible.
And then the rest of it could have been just what they had.
Because when he had it open, you don't see any tar. So yeah, that was, you can thank the actor for that, because he was like, no, feels wrong. And I think one of the things they did talk about was having it look a little bit more like the cloven hoof thing as an option as well. But the director didn't want to do that. He was hesitant. He just wasn't sure how to solve the problem because he wanted to do things new and different, which is why he had that guy in the back of the bowling alley. He's like, I've never seen a bowling alley in the film before like that, you know?
Yeah.
They wanted to specifically find interesting locations to help make the whole movie feel richer. And so when the actor was like, I think this is what we should do, the director was super into the idea, and it turned out to be the absolute best choice because it is the most memorable, and he is so much more terrifying that way than I think if he had come in with like chains and leather, I wouldn't have been able to take him very seriously, honestly. But when he comes in that way, I think it's just so much more and so much more interesting to see.
Yeah.
He just nailed it.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah.
Right. And I agree. There's something so much more menacing about someone who doesn't need to put on these, like the chains and stuff, and make effort to make their appearance menacing. Like they're confident that they're already deadly enough.
Yeah.
And he's very confident in that scene.
Yeah. And like even when he's losing, he won't lose, and that's why he saves John's life in the end. So he reaches in and takes John's cancer out. That's the like oil that's in his hand is John's cancer, and heals him, as Josh said in the beginning.
A movie about Satan curing a man's cancer.
So he like healed John Constantine completely because he was so sure that if John lived longer, he would prove that he belonged in hell.
He would screw up again.
Yeah, which resonates so much with like a concept that I've always had was like it is way easier to die for someone than to live for someone.
Yeah.
Like a moment where you choose to make that sacrifice, and that's what John did, and it was a big sacrifice. Like I don't want to like talk that down.
Yeah.
But choosing to live a life for someone, like it's just so much harder.
It's real.
There's so much
different.
more that's required of someone of you.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes sense that a lot of times people stumble. The devil is giving him enough rope to hang himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And I just loved that idea that he was also so confident that John could not continue to maintain this path.
Yeah, but it's funny because John, since killing himself, has assumed he's on borrowed time. His whole life. So he smoked and whatever. And then just seeing him with the gum at the end of the movie was like, okay, he actually has to live like a regular person now.
Yeah. Also, that was something that made people mad, viewers mad, because they were like, John Constantine would never give up cigarettes. And so they were mad specifically that he had the gum. But I think, honestly, if they hadn't switched it to gum at the end, it wouldn't have made much sense.
I think that it was a great move.
Yeah, his character had to grow and change.
And the first time I watched it, they totally faked me. Because she walks away, he's on the edge of the building on his own,
100% thought it was
and
a
he
cigarette.
made that motion, you know, and and I can remember vividly thinking, John, why?
You're just gonna get cancer again.
Yeah, you know, like I can't believe it that he's back to smoking
Yeah.
after all this, and then he pops a piece of gum in. I was like, oh, you got me, you got me, that's
You
good,
got me.
Oh, Keanu, that was some good acting.
Oscar worthy,
That was
right there. Give this
Revian.
man
He
a-
deserves an Oscar. And then in the end credit, he leaves the lighter. He
Yeah.
doesn't need the lighter anymore, so he leaves it for Angel Chaz.
Yeah. Maybe you can get cancer.
So yeah, I don't know.
He left it there so some other kid would pick it up and be like, I should get into cigarettes. And now, dang it.
No. So yeah, that is the movie Constantine.
I don't claim that this is the best movie ever created. It's not a Godfather, but I love this movie.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's not The Godfather.
I would watch Constantine over The Godfather, I think 10 out of 10 times though.
I don't know about that. But I did like it. I think it highlights something else that, like, well, I'm now going to get up on a soapbox. I apologize. But you opened the door for me.
Yeah, I did.
Get that soapbox.
Yeah.
So, like, all of the little details, like, what makes cinema interesting is that it is this collision of so many individuals' ideas about something. And then to create something coherent out of that is kind of amazing when you think about it, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, the people that make the props and that stage the scenes and the cinematographer and the actors themselves, right, talking about Satan, all of them come with their own ideas.
Yeah.
And they create something that's so much deeper and so much more interesting than it could be on its own. So even if the material, I'm like, it's not really for me, it's still like you can feel the work that went into it.
Yeah.
And there's all these companies that are trying to make like AI films a thing, right? And it's like, that misses the point.
Yeah.
Like you're going to get just this flat, like glossy thing that looks like a film, but doesn't have any of the heart or the love or attention, you know? And it's a real bummer that people are trying to do that, because even though this is an imperfect film, like you feel the effort that went into it.
Yeah. And you get really amazing moments because of that human
Yeah.
interaction. Like what was done with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like as we were watching it this morning, towards the end, I was thinking like, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but like it seems like everyone involved in that project was totally committed to it.
Yeah.
What was the lady Rachel
Weisz.
like she I think she did a really good job. Like she acted the crap out of some of those scenes.
You know what's funny about her when they interviewed her is she was trying to pivot her career from the like romance stuff that she had been doing previously. And she was like, I read the script, but I skipped all the parts that I didn't realize would be in there, like how I'd have to sort of partway drown, and I had to like dive from a tall window, and like all these action things. She's like, I just read a bunch of the dialogue, and I thought it was really interesting dialogue, but she had skipped past all the action parts. So when they started filming, she's like, oh, woof. But she like really, because like the scene where she's in the tub and John is essentially drowning her. The signal was supposed to be that she tapped his arm twice, but they all got into it, and you see it on film. She hits his arm twice, and he doesn't. I mean, she's in there for a little bit longer, and she was like, it was genuinely scary because at that point I wasn't acting. I just really wanted out of that water, you know? And it was so much more physical and that kind of stuff than what she had been doing previously, but she like really did fully commit to it. And just like existing in that world fully with John. I think she did excellent.
I was so glad that they didn't have a romance scene.
Yeah. That's what
all the little teases of it were so funny to me.
I
Every
loved
time he
when
leaned in
like,
and then went,
put the necklace on,
Yeah.
you know, or like lean forward, but they didn't kiss. And then I loved at the end when they got real close and then she walked past him. I was like, ha, she got you back for the two times.
Yeah.
Also, those little holy hand grenade things.
Yeah.
Those are Christmas ornaments. It's the prop people at work. So I'm going to take a bunch of Christmas ornaments. I'm going to paint little crosses on them, fill them with water, and put them all over my Christmas tree. And then light my tree on fire.
Yeah.
I think you'll be ready in case the demon shows
It's
up.
the Satan Christmas.
You.
And I've been hearing good things about it lately.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully that was enjoyable for everybody. I'm glad that we got to watch the movie together. That was super fun. So yeah, we'll end there. And then as long as Brandon doesn't storm out of here and never come back.
This is it.
Oh, wait, we're cutting
That whole part got cut.
Yeah, we cut that part.
We cut that
didn't
whole
we?
scene.
Now we're just gonna assume that Brandon is like every time. The end, we're always wondering: is he gonna storm
Is
out
he
this
going to storm
time?
out this time? Is he going to come back? Listeners, tune in.
It's like the Princess Bride. See you tomorrow. Good night. Probably
yeah.
kill you in the morning.
Yeah,
that
that's
exact
Brandon.
thing.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, thanks for coming and enjoying Arts and Crimes Theater, A&C Theater with us, and let us know if you would like to know what movie we do next time at the 25th or whatever.
The
The
70s.
70. I'm like way back in the past.
Oh, man.
75th episode.
There's so much time between now and then.
Yeah, you got plenty of time to tell us your opinions. Okay. Go do some art. Don't do any crime. Bye.
Bye.
Will Brandon return? Tune in next week for the stunning conclusion. Yeah, they play for keeps. Earth go hard.